Hey, this is MJ and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this gorgeous multi-colored scarf. The yarn I'm working with for this pattern is Wool of the Andes worsted, and I have these gorgeous colors for fall, which I really love. I did some little pumpkins from my pumpkin pattern in these as well, and I just love this color range. It's just so pretty. So I have picked out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors, plus then I'm using white in between. So I have all of my colors here, and then we're doing a little bit of white in between. So you can pick any color you want. You don't even need to pick as many colors as me, but if you want this look, these are the colors. And I'll give you the color names, and all of this will be in the description box below as well, with a link to the blog post. So let's see, I use this Ford Heather, if I'm saying that right, I don't know. Merlot Heather, Amber Heather, Spruce, White Pumpkin, and Camel Heather. So those are the colors that I used for this design. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and this is my Furls Odyssey hook. So now this pattern is going to require a little weaving. You can see I've got all of my ends here that I need to weave, so it's a little bit of a labor of love, but the look is so nice that I think that it's worth it. So the width of mine is 40 stitches. So you could go wider, you could go narrower, really whatever you want, but I've done 40. And for my swatch here, I'm just going to go even smaller just because I want to show it to you quickly. So what we're going to do is start it with a chain. So make a slip knot and put that on your hook. And I'm just going to keep my count at 10. So I'm going to chain out 11. Okay, and then you're just going to work single crochets back along your chain. So working in the second chain from the hook, work across single crochet stitches. And this video does assume that you know your basic stitches, and I do have some beginner tutorials that work through the stitches a lot slower if you're brand new. So just work across, and then you should have 10 single crochet. And how I want to start the scarf and end the scarf is that we do 2 rows of single crochet to start out with, because now this is our right side, we're going to go back along our wrong side. So we'll chain 1 and turn, and just work back along in the first stitch. My chain 1 is not included as a stitch when I do the single crochet rows. So I'll complete that and then I'll meet you up. Now that I have that started off, just for a good base to begin the pattern, because this is worked in long double crochets, and that's what gives us this almost drop stitch look. It's really nice. So to do that, we're going to chain up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the idea here is that our double crochet is going to be the height of our chain. So depending on the pattern, you just follow along with how many they've asked you to chain, because your long double crochet is going to be that height. So for this pattern, I'm doing it 5. So you're going to yarn over. I'm going to count my chain as a stitch, so I'm not going to work into that stitch. I'm going to work into the next. So go through the next stitch, pulling up a loop, and now you're going to pull it all the way to the height of the chain. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Go in the next. So we're just pulling it up, yarning over, pull through 2, pull through 2. and do that all the way along. Okay, so you get to the end, and then again we'll chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to count as our first stitch. So into the next stitch we'll work a long double crochet. So really the only difference is we're pulling it up to the height, just lengthening it. And I'm going to work all the way across, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so now when we get to the end here, because our turning chain counts as a stitch, our final stitch needs to be in that turning chain. And you want to count across and make sure that you do have the correct stitches, so you're not gaining or losing as you go through this pattern. So the chain counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I finished that stitch, but we actually are going to change color on the final stitch. And I'll show you how to do that. So yarn over, go through, pull it up, pull through 2, but now we're not going to pull through it again. We're going to bring in white, because white is going to go between 2 rows. We'll always do 2 rows of long double crochet in one color, then we're going to change to white, and then we change to the other color. So we're pulling through with the white to finish the stitch, and then we're doing 2 rows of single crochet. So we'll chain 1, and my chain 1, whenever I do the single crochet, the chain 1's so small, I'm not including it as a stitch. I'm going to work into this first stitch. But the long double, like the long chains, I count them as a stitch. It's just how I like to do it. So I just work into the first stitch on my single crochet rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then in the turning chain we'll get number 10. Chain 1 and turn. And how I've worked this pattern is that all the tails end up to the one side because we're working in rows of 2. So we'll work back across a row of single crochet. So we chain 1, work across single crochet stitches. I'm working through it quickly because we just want to get to the next spot. Okay, so again, I'm gonna put that down because we need to change the color. So this is how my color pattern goes. I go to the lighter blue, then I go to sort of the orangey brown, and then my darker spruce, bright kind of turquoisey green color, and then I go to a dark brown that has a hint of almost, oh, it's almost an orangey red color. It's really cool. And then I go to the pumpkin, and then again, I'm back then to, what's the name of this color? The camel heather. So that's the color pattern that I do, but of course you can switch that up. So let's go here. And what you'll do is you'll cut. So you'll cut your first color, you'll cut your white, and as you go. So now we're yarning over. I just like to leave a tail long enough that I'm going to be able to weave that. I'm not crocheting over my ends or anything because I want to just make sure when I weave it, I'm hiding it in its like color. So I'm not crocheting over ends, I'm just leaving them so I can make sure that I do a good job weaving those later. So now we can chain up 4 or 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn. I'm going to count this as a stitch, so we're skipping that one and working into the next. Okay, and then this is just repetitive. We'll do 2 rows of blue, 2 rows of white, etc. And that's all you need to know for this section of the pattern. Okay, so I've completed my scarf and I did 5 repeats of our stitch pattern. So our color pattern going from here to the pumpkin is 1 repeat, and I did 5 in total. So now what I wanted to show you is I finished it off here with my 2 rows of long double crochet, and then I finished off with a row of single crochet just to complete the end. And then I've attached some fringe. So you could do this 2 ways. You could just leave the fringe like this and it looks beautiful, just like that. But if you want to do something a little bit different, you can do some twisted fringe. So that's how that looks there. So I've started this side, but I completed this side already. So you start out by just adding all of your fringe and then we twist it together. So what I did is I took one of each color and I cut them 20 inches in length. So cut them 20 inches in length, and then I attached them every 3rd row. So I attached to the first, and then I skipped 2, and then I attached to the 3rd. So I'm skipping 2 and attaching to the 3rd. So this is how it looks here, and I'll just take one off just to show you how to do that. Okay, so I have one of each of my strands here, and I have them cut 20 inches. Then you just fold them in half, take your crochet hook and put it up through, and then just grab, pulling that. And then just pull it through. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 going across. And I do this to both ends. So if you just want to leave your fringe like this, you can steam it just to get it all evened out nicely and then trim your ends, or you can go ahead and do the twisted fringe. I'm going to show you how to do that next. Now you're going to want something heavy to hold your scarf. I'm just going to put my basket here on top of it. You just want to make sure that you can pull it nice and tight and it not move. So then you want to take your fringe and you want to evenly split it so that you have one of each color on each side. Now you want to flatten them out and keep them flat as you twist. So just twisting around, and I'm grabbing to make sure I'm keeping them flat. And I'm just twisting. Okay, so what I'm doing here now is I've pinched the end. I was getting close to the end. So now I'm just going to grab one of the longer pieces. And you just want to bring it around, making a knot and just pulling that. Then you just let go and it untwists a little bit. It just loosens it up. And then you have this nice bit of fringe on the bottom, and at the end I'm also going to trim, once I finish them all, I'm going to trim them all that they look a little bit more even. So again, just make sure you have even number of strands on each side. Make sure that they're flattened out, and then just begin twisting. I want to just keep it nice and tight. And once you're getting close to the end, I just like to pinch it. Find one of the strands that's long for coming around to then do the knot. So you just want to bring it around. Just knot that, pull that tight, and then let go, and then it just, the twist loosens up. And that's all there is to it. So I'm going to finish the rest, and then I'm going to give them a steam and just trim my ends so they're even.